the next project that we are going to look at shares something with Ankara, which is that I think very exciting for me is the way the modern web frameworks allow us to create things that aren't just websites, but are kind of complete experiences with different kinds of multimedia and interactions. This next group tackled some ambitious libraries and plugins and APIs in order to create that kind of experiential type of application. So if you guys are ready, go ahead.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Silvia, this is Jimmy, Omer, and Jake, and we present to you the Palace of Music. Our aim was to give you a complete museum experience where you can fully be immersed both in sight and sound to learn about some of the most distinguished and talented classical composers in history. Some of the technologies we used were Babylon.js and the Spotify API. The visitor's first stop would be our museum's homepage, where they can learn more about the project and also preview some of the composers that will be exhibited in the museum. They can also see who our past visitors were and inspect the map to help with navigation once they're in the museum. Once they're ready, they can go to the tickets page where they can purchase a ticket. Here they'll be entered into the visitor's log and they'll be taken directly into the Palace of Music. Now here's Jimmy to give you a brief tour.
Thank you, Silvia. Upon entering the museum, users will immediately be greeted by ambient music, as indicated by the flying notes from a composer's portrait. As an artistically oriented group, our goal for this project before writing a single line of code was to create something artistically appealing, visually creative, and genuinely unique. We believe that music is not just merely sound, but also a full-on experience, and we believe that our Palace of Music embodies that. If users hear something they like, they can quickly locate it based on spatial sound, and they can go up to the composer and learn more about them. Composers are organized by time period, and as we make our way across the room to the Romantic period, we'll see more familiar faces such as Mozart and Beethoven. To speak more about how users can interact with the museum, here's Omer.
Thanks, Jimmy. So in order to make our environment more interactive and to display composer information, we decided to integrate a GUI system into Babylon.js. So the technology we use is called Caster GUI, which selects the element where the museum is rendering and creates an additional layer on top of that. So as a user is walking around the museum, if they hear a song they like or a composer they know, they can click on the portrait and then see some more information about each composer and also see a track listing of some of their most famous works. When they see something they like, they can play the song and the ambient music will stop and the track will continue to play. To get out of the window, a user can simply just walk away. So to make this fully functional, we had to edit some of the things in the Caster library, including the GUI window, and also we used information from our database and the Spotify API to generate a unique URI for each composer. We then used that URI to embed an iframe into our GUI function, which gets rendered whenever a user clicks. So to tell you a little bit more about Babylon.js and some of the challenges we faced, here's Jake.
Hi, everyone. Working with new technology always brings about difficult problems, but also offers unique creative problem-solving opportunities. So the team never worked on any sort of 3D environment before, and it was really great to experience a whole new side of development. So we originally wrote this program, or we're going to write this program in 3.js, but we found that we would have to really implement a lot of our own sort of function and logic. So we changed up to Babylon.js, which proved to be a really great choice. Babylon.js is really a full-stack developer's dream. It's all of the skills that we learned here at Full Stack were implemented in one way or another into the program. So to talk a little bit more about the idea of building on top of like what you know. So first it was like, how do we put sound into the system, and then how do we make it 3D, and then how do we add a visual aspect to it, and then how do we make it interactive. So the final product, what you see is both from the portrait and the fireworks, which is a nice ending to it. So our project is available at Palace of Music, herokuapp.com, and we hope you enjoy the Palace of Music. Thank you.
So I thought, well, welcome back. One of the things that I loved about Palace of Music is that after a while of watching the demonstration, walking around the palace, you kind of forget altogether that this is a project and not an actual museum or actual palace. And I think that is one of the qualities of the best projects, that you forget altogether about the technologies and about the developers. And I think, and that's credit to the developers.
I'm really happy to hear that, Nivet. Thanks.